Hey everybody, welcome to The Mountain Gamer. Today I'm going to be doing a full playthrough of Star Trek Fleet Captains using a solo variant that I found on Board Game Geek a few years ago, written by someone named Kirk Agathon. Now, if that's his real name, that's an awesome name, just putting it out there. I played this thing 2-3 times, thought it was pretty cool, made some modifications to it. Basically, I took away some of the fiddliness that I found I was having with it, and also I tried to make the Klingons more aggressive, more Klingon-ish, Like if they're in red alert and they're in your face, they shouldn't run away and repair themselves. They should go all in. I mean, today's a good day to die and all that. What I like about this thing is it does feel like you're playing Star Trek. It doesn't take away anything from the game, really. You're playing as the Federation in this one, and you're trying to get to 10 victory points by the end of the 10th round. At the same time, you're trying to see what these Klingons are going to do. They are controlled by an AI system with a table system of if this, then that, and if not this, and if not that. It's pretty logical. It is also semi-predictable, which is not a bad thing. Because when you're trying to maximize your actions and trying to fulfill these missions and all that, you're constantly thinking, okay, since I know what these Klingons might do, I need to kind of plan for that. So you're not just playing for yourself. You're playing, in relation to what these guys are going to be doing. You're incorporating their system into your strategy. And I like that. That being said, there's also some luck, because every once in a while, as you'll see in this particular playthrough, Klingons can just pop out of nowhere and start attacking you, which is fun. Anyway, we'll get into the rules as we start playing this thing, and before we do, I just want to mention that this full playthrough will be split into possibly 4 or 5 videos, and I'll try and release those, every 2 or 3 days or anything, but if you want to make sure and not miss any of that, please hit the bell icon, and you'll be notified as soon as they come out. And with that said, let's play Star Trek Fleet Captains, and we will keep calm and cling on. Okay, so let's look at setup here. As far as the map goes, I recommend usually doing the same map that they suggest in the rulebook. That being said, it's a little bit shorter here just because I'm running out of table space. Besides that, what else? You'll set up a command post down there for the Klingons. Once your map is set up, you're going to be picking a ship. Now, in the rules, it states that if you're playing with a ship of size 1, 2, 3, or 4, you can actually equip the ship right away with a captain, an officer, an engineer, and a specialist. And if you're playing with a ship of size 5 or 6, you're going to equip it with a captain and 1 other crew. Now, I'm going to do that later. Now, all depending on the size of your ship, you can play with a variant rule that says that you can start the game with an enemy ship on an opposite command post, and that's a ship of equal size. So I've done that. This is the Nigvar. He's a size 6 ship, just like my Enterprise. After that, what you will need is the Klingon command deck. Now, this is not all of the cards that come in the game. I'm going to put some information here in the comments, but basically all of these cards are, they just make the Klingons' decisions more, just more simple. So you'll get a list of what those are, but you'll see them as we play the game. So you'll put that next to the board here. You will need 2 action tokens for 1 ship, because in this particular way of playing, your ship can take 2 actions. Your ship can move, of course, and make a power adjustment. I just use those to track things because I'm not very bright. This is going to be to track the rounds. What else? This is my die. This is going to be the Klingons' dice. And this is going to be the Klingon encounter die, and we'll get to that. Over here I've got the rules. I'll put those on screen as we use them. Now, as far as command decks down here, at my house we play with 5 command decks and we shuffle them together. I know the base game says only take 4. And in this particular scenario, I have the Captain Picard deck, Flagship Fleet deck, Sensor Upgrade deck, Wild Space deck, and Heavy Security deck. I gotta be honest, I kind of went random with this, so I'm gonna shuffle them up and we'll use that. 2 little house rules that we use. In the regular game, it says that when you have your hand of command cards, you can cycle 1 of them. Well, at my house, what we do is you can cycle 1 or all of your command cards. So keep that in mind. Same thing for the missions here. Once I have my missions set up, once per turn, I could cycle 1 or all of those mission cards. So those are our house rules. Now, when it comes to making up your mission deck, what you'll be doing is looking at the numbers here and multiplying them by 3. So in this case, I have Science 3, Influence 2, Combat 1. So that would be Science 9, Influence 6, Combat 3. That being said, I will add one more combat card, and that's because I'm starting with an enemy ship over there. Now, anytime in the game that a new enemy ship comes into play, you will put a new combat mission into your combat deck. So I believe that goes through all of it. As for the rules, we're going to explain the rules as we play. So right now, let me just shuffle everything up, equip my ship, and get my missions. So I have taken Jean-Luc Picard as my captain and Miles O'Brien as my crew. Jean-Luc gives me +1 weapons and +2 sensors, which is very good. And Miles O'Brien here as an engineer gives me +1 engines at all times. And I can discard a crew card from my hand to give this ship a permanent +1 engines token. Okay, we'll do that maybe later. You might notice that I'm using this little blue sticky stuff here. I'm using that to track my stats here instead of using the hero clicks, because I find that they're very hard to manipulate, and every time I try and do it, the ship just flies out of my hands. And yeah, I actually broke one. So there you go. So with that, let's start the game. I've put this here at round 1. So let's flip over 4 of these cards and see what we get. Okay. Picard maneuver, all powered engines, data, and photon torpedo. Well, I mean, first of all, I think I will be just, equipping, because you can do that. So I'll equip the ship with data. Data's pretty cool. He's an officer, so, engineer, officer, that's fine. He gives me +3 sensors. And it says if the ship is ever destroyed, you may trash data to prevent all damage that would have destroyed the ship. That's important too, because I forgot to mention, if your ship is destroyed, you lose the game. And you win the game if at the end of the 10th round, you have 10 victory points. But there are ways with which the Klingons can take away victory points at the end of the game. So we'll look at final scoring a little bit later in the game. So let's keep drawing here to get back up to 4. Okay, so what does the Picard maneuver do? Combat, engines 8 to combat ends. Okay, so this is really for combat. This is also for combat. Interrupt, turn this ship's dial to the highest engines rating in its current alert level and give it +1 engines until the end of the next turn. Okay, so I guess if you want to, run away. This is +3 weapons, classic, +2 shields. And if you play it as an interrupt here, movement, instead of moving, trash this card to give this ship a permanent +1 shields token. So instead of moving, I could get rid of this and get a shields token here. Not sure that we'll do that, so I mean, let's just start exploring. But I guess before we do that, we should look at what our actual missions are. So let's do that. We have Disrupt Influence, remove all enemy tokens from one location. Well, that's going to be tough to do because the Klingons haven't done anything yet. Second one here is Expect the Unexpected. Condition, have at least 3 encounter cards in your victory pile. Okay, I mean, we might cycle this, and when it comes back, we'll see if we have, those encounter cards. And over here is Hit and Run, secret mission, inflict at least 1 damage to an enemy ship in combat without your ship being attacked by any enemy ship on your opponent's next turn. This could actually work. I mean, not right now because the Klingons are so far away. Now, in regards to this, I should mention that there is a new action that you can do here, and that action is called Scan for Encounter. Now, as an action, you could roll for encounter, as you would on a tile, using 2d6, and then you just hope to get the result. And if you do, you can draw an encounter card. So you can actually force encounters. So while we're on the subject of new actions, you could also do what's called Act of War. So you would spend an action to force the appearance of a Klingon ship. So if you're on a certain tile and you're like, you have a lot of these combat missions and you want to basically pick a fight, you do the Act of War action and then you just spawn a Klingon ship there. That being said, at the end of the game, if you took the Act of War action and there is still Klingon ships on the board, you would lose 1 VP per Klingon ship still on the board. So if you're going to do the Act of War action, you better make sure to clean the whole place out before ending the game. So that being said, for now, I think I'm going to cycle all of these because, yeah, I mean, there's no control tokens on the board right now. this isn't going to happen anytime soon, and the enemy ship isn't, in my face right now, so I will cycle all of those. So I'll just put them underneath here and draw 3 more. All right, let's take a look at these. Gather intelligence. Secret mission. Place and retrieve an away team token on a habitable planet controlled by your opponent. You do not need to use the same ship to both place and retrieve the away team. Yeah, this isn't going to happen now because, it's at the other end of the board. This one here, stellar research. Make a successful level 20 sensors test on a star. Okay, this might happen. Exploration. When you remove one of your scan tokens from a location by exploring it, place that token on this mission card. This mission is completed when you have 2 scan tokens here, i.e. when you scan and explore 2 locations. Okay, we might be able to do this. Now, because we've cycled, I like to put one of these things on here just to remind me that it's been done so that I don't do it again. All right, so let's look at what we're going to do with our first turn. Well, it's early days, so I say let's just move, but before, at the start of the game, you can do a free power adjustment, and I believe mine is already done. I have engines 8 and sensors 15, so I'll leave it like that, and I will move. So let's go right over here. Space, the final frontier, of course. Now, when you flip over a new location, firstly what you'll do is you'll check to see if you have an encounter, so let's do that. Wow, we actually do. Okay. Now, after you have resolved your encounter, or if there was no encounter, what you need to do is roll on the Klingon encounter table. Now, I'm going to put this die here to remind me to do that after the encounter. But let's say we didn't have an encounter, we would roll this and consult a table, and it would tell us if Klingons were here before, if they control this space, or even if a Klingon ship appears right in our face. So for now, let's just do that encounter. Unstable wormhole. An unstable wormhole has opened near your ship. Do you dare enter the wormhole to see where it leads? If you do, attempt a level 10 engines test. If you succeed, your ship moves directly to any unexplored location tile. Explore that location and roll for an encounter as normal. And this card is added to your victory pile for 1 victory point. If you fail, your ship is destroyed, and this card is discarded. You may choose not to enter the wormhole. If you do not enter the wormhole, or if there are no unexplored location tiles in the game, do not attempt the engines test and discard this card. Okay, let's hold on, let's think about this. A level 10 engines test. Could we do this? Yeah, we certainly could. We could just, we're at 9 right now because of Miles O'Brien, but we could just power adjust to get to 10. So if we do win this, hold on, if you succeed, your ship moves directly to any unexplored location. Well, why not? Yeah, let's do it. I'm feeling funky. So let's just put that here for now. Okay, so I'm going to do a power adjustment to just get that up to 10. So right now I'm at engines 10. So the test, you can roll a die, but so the test is successful. So now I can go anywhere. See, this is a case where, because I'm leaving this place right now, I would not roll this die here. You're going to have to use your judgment for some of these cases here, but in this particular case, yeah. In this particular case, I'm going to rule it that, we're going to roll when we get to the other place. Because, if we roll a 6 on here and a Klingon actually appears, that's kind of weird because then we're all the way over somewhere else. So, yeah. Okay, so where do we want to go? You know what? I don't think I'm going to go too far away. You know what? Let's just go here. Yeah, let's just do it. Okay, so we're going to jump over there. So let's flip that. So it's a Class T nebula. While you're here, you have +2 shields. So we found the wormhole. We go right here. This is going to go in our victory pile. Now I'm just going to put this on the side here and I'll let you know how many we have. And then it says that we still have to roll for encounter. So let's actually do that. Okay, so no encounter. And then, as we said, we will roll on the Klingon encounter table. So let's just roll that. Actually, before we roll, let me explain to you how this goes. Now, when you're moving, you're going to be rolling on the Klingon encounter table. And it's a regular d6, and if we look at the results here, on 1 to 4, when you're moving, nothing. Resume play. Okay, cool. On a 5, while moving, you roll on the Klingon influence table. And on a 6, if you were either moving or scanning, you will flip the tile away from you, and that's important for certain missions. And then you will roll on the Klingon ship's table. So basically, if you roll a 6, it means that a Klingon ship is actually going to appear in your face. So let's just roll the die and see what happens. Oh my God. Okay, well, there you go. So, okay, let's do what it says. So firstly, we're going to turn this thing around. This basically means that our opponent has discovered this tile. I know it's weird, but for certain missions, it's going to count. So you just flip this over, put our ship here, and then we need to roll on the Klingon ships table. So this is basically going to help us generate a Klingon ship, and based on our roll, you know, it's going to impact the size of their fleet. So let's roll. 4. So if you look on the Klingon ship table here, on a 4 or a 5, the fleet size is 5. All right, so let's draw some Klingon ships and get them a fleet of size 5. Man, this game is ramping up pretty fast. All right, so let's draw some ships here. The Rotaran, a size 2. Tiong, size 4. So that's 6. That doesn't work, so we'll get rid of that. So that's our first mulligan. Another 2, that's size 4. And what did we want, actually? 4 is a size 5. Okay, so basically we need to draw a 1 here, or else it's going to, you know. Okay, and our last card here, because, this is face up. That just takes care of it. So, okay, there we go. So we'll just shuffle these back. Okay, so it turns out they have, you know, 2 ships of 2 each, so that's a fleet size of 4. So let's go get these ships and put them on the board. So here they are, the Chitang and the Rotaran. So we'll put them right up in our face. And we'll put these cards over there with the other ones. Now, if we continue reading on the Klingon ships table, it says here, immediately draft Klingon ships until the total size value equals the Klingon fleet size. We did that. If you cannot equal the Klingon fleet size after 3 mulligan draws, the fleet is complete. Well, as you saw, that's exactly what happened. Okay, after that it says place the Klingon ships on the location. Now we have to roll to see if they're going to appear cloaked or decloaked. So let's roll for the Rotaran first. We rolled a 5. So on a 5, the ship is decloaked. Okay, so he's decloaked. And the Chitang, it's a 4, decloaked as well. Okay, if they had been cloaked, just, you know, so we know, I would put one of these tokens next to them, just so we know. But they are decloaked, and that's actually good for us. Because if they were cloaked, we couldn't attack them right away. We'd have to waste an action just to scan to decloak them, and then another action to attack. But now we basically have our 2 actions with which to attack. So at the bottom here, it says your turn continues normally. See rules for evasion rolls if applicable. But no, I don't think we're gonna run away because these guys are little chickens. So let's take a look at these cards over there because I need to let you know something. Now, when you interact with the Klingon ships, you will firstly look to see, you know, in which alert status they are. In this case, these 2 are in, you know, white alert status. And you will always take the most powerful stat in terms of weapon and shields. So if, let's say, the Chitang is attacking me and it's in white alert status, it would attack me with 5. If it was defending against me, it would defend me with 4. And when it's over here, it has a weapons of 4 and a shields of 4. And when it's up here, it has a weapons of 1 and a shields of 4. Okay, it's always the strongest of each category. So now we are facing up against 2 ships that have a shield value of 4. Well, actually, he has a shield value of 5. So which one of these guys do I want to attack? We already did a power adjustment here, so our weapons right now are at 7. That's horrible. Oh, wow. So the maximum we could have here is 7 plus Jean-Luc's 1, so that's 8. And let's say 3 here, that's 11. Let's say the average die roll is a 3, right there, that's 14. So 14 against, let's say, the 5 they have for shields. I mean, we can do it, but man. What about these cards here? Can we interrupt and do anything? Turn the ship's dial to the highest engines rating in its current alert level. Highest engines rating would be, now C10, and that would just give us a 5 or a 7 in terms of weapons, so that's crap. This is shields, this is the combat ends. All right, let's do it. Let's just pick the weakest one, and I'll show you how combat works. Okay, so I will declare that I am attacking the one with the lowest shields, and that is the Chitang. So let's just flip the ship over here. Let's just bring the Chitang's card over here. So when you're fighting against an enemy, okay, I mean, first thing we're gonna do, just like in a regular game, I will declare that I am playing a combat card. So I will be playing +3 weapons. Of course, they don't know that, but that's what I'm going to be doing. Now, as far as the Klingons go, what you'll be doing is drawing 3 cards from this deck here. And you will be picking the first one that makes some sense for the current situation. Now see, this one here, it says combat +2 shields for each friendly ship at this location. I mean, this makes a lot of sense. So he would actually play that. So you would prepare that on the side. But let's look at some of the other ones. Let's say this one was at the bottom. If you had drawn this +3 weapons, well, this makes no sense. They're defending. So you would just cycle that. Oh, and look at that. It's the same one twice. So there you go. So you look at these cards one by one and you pick the first one that makes the most sense. So in this case, they will be using the +2 shields. Okay, now if none of these cards would have made sense, what you actually do is roll 2 dice and keep the highest result. Okay, so this is our combat and this is their combat. So let's roll some dice. I'm gonna be the white die, they're gonna be the red die, and let's do it. Okay, so I've got 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. So I'm at 14, and they are defending with 4 + 2, 6. So I do beat them, so that means I do give them a damage. And because I beat them by more than twice what they're defending with, I actually do 2 damage. So that's pretty good. So let's do that right now. So 1 and 2. So let's just put them in red alert here. Okay, pretty good. And of course, I'll just move this over here to signify that I did take an action. And we'll get rid of these cards. And I'll draw another card for myself. And it's Diplomacy. Now, you always got to check if these cards make sense for the solo version, because some of them actually don't. So let's quickly here, combat. The combat ends if either player has control of this location, remove 1 control token. Yeah, that makes sense. And influence action, both you and your opponent must each reveal face down mission cards. Well, this part doesn't make sense, but this one does, and it could be useful, so I'm going to keep that. Now, I still have another action that I could do, and I think that I'm going to use it to, just kill off the Chitang. It's just too bad that I don't have any of those combat missions, and I already cycled my mission deck, so, well, too bad. Okay, so let's just try and finish off the Chitang. So I'm going to take my second action and attack the Chitang again. Let's put that back here. So he's got right now a shield of 4, again with the shield of 4. Okay, and I will be playing, this is shields, this is to end the combat. At the end of combat, weapons or shields test, turn this ship's dial to the highest engines rating. I don't think I want to do that. And this is to end the combat. So all of this is crap for now. That being said, I have not yet cycled one of these cards. I could cycle one or all. And you know what? Let's cycle all of them. Yeah, let's do that. So I'm going to cycle and draw 4 more. Hopefully I'll get something to fight with. So what do we got here? Hailing frequencies. Combat. If the target ship's sensors are greater than the aggressor's weapons, the combat ends. I don't want to end the combat. Sensors, no. Scan action and combat. If the ship is being attacked, nope. Okay, so we've got nothing to help us. So let's just do this, yeah, old school. So we're not playing a combat card, but we still have to check if the Klingons can do something. So let's get 3 cards. So the first one here is return fire as the target. After this combat is complete, immediately begin a new combat with this ship as the aggressor. I don't think that the Chitang would do that because it's in, you know, such poor shape. So this makes no sense. So we'll forget about this one. Combat, +2 weapons and +2 shields. +2 shields makes perfect sense. So that's going to be their deal. Okay, so they have 4 + 2. They've got 6. They've got 6 and we've got 7, 8. Because of Picard gives us +1. Okay, so it's 6 to 8. Let's roll some dice. Beautiful. Okay, that totally kills them because they're at 6 + 4, that's 10, and we have 5, 6 + 7, that's 13. So they are completely destroyed. Goodbye. Bye-bye. And that actually gives us 1 VP. We actually cycled our command card, so I'll put this on my command deck at the bottom here. And yeah, so we are done. So now let's move on to the Klingon phase. So I'm going to put this grid up on screen so you guys can actually see what the Klingons will be doing. If you look at the Klingon's turn, okay, let's just read everything because it makes more sense that way. So Klingon turn. Each Klingon ship goes through each of these 2 phases. Lowest ship size goes first and so on. Okay, lowest ship size. So that would be the Rotaran, which is this guy over here. So let's see what he's going to do. So phase 1, decloak if the ship type allows it. Well, yeah. So decloak if at least one of the following conditions are met. Your starship is not present. Well, no, it's present. Your starship is present, but the Klingon ship has a greater or equal size than your ship. No, he's a 2. Okay, let's continue. Your starship is present, but the Klingon ship is part of a task force, whatever size. Well, none of these things apply. So it says here, if none of these conditions are met, roll a d6. Okay, let's do that. Oops, that's a 5. Okay, so it says on 4 to 6, execute phase 2. So let's go to phase 2. Phase 2, Klingon ship will perform the first action, max 1 action per turn, that it's able to do from this list. Okay, so the first one says take a combat action against a Starfleet ship, decloaking before combat. Okay, so can it do that? Yes, it can. So let's do that. Now, if we go back to the previous table here, if we had rolled something other than a 5, let's say we rolled 1 to 3, it would say do not decloak and skip directly to the backup phase. And in that particular phase, it would actually make the ship cloak and it would make the ship move probably away from your ship. But we'll get to that if it ever gets to that. But right now, this guy is like, I'm getting revenge from my buddies. So he's going to be taking a combat action. So let's put this on his card to let us know that he's going to be attacking us. So now when they are attacking you, you don't get to see what they're going to be playing first. That's just normal. So what you have to do is pick a card, you know, in anticipation of what they are going to be playing. Now in terms of shields, right now we're at 5, which is pretty bad. Wow, could we do something? Okay, so nobody gives us shields. Okay. So here, if the ship is attacked by more than one enemy ship, no, this is for scanning. This is for scanning. And if the ship's sensors are greater than the aggressor's weapons, the combat ends. Oh, hold on. Our sensors are 13. Oh no, +3. Data gives us +3. So we're at 18. +2, we're at 20. Okay, we're at 20 sensors. But anyway, this is overkill. And this particular enemy's weapons are a maximum of 5. So I could play this and I would actually end the combat. Do we want to do that? Yeah, I mean, it's better than, like, I know he's only got 5 in terms of weapon, but let's say 5 + 3 is 8. Then he rolls another 3, that's 11. If we have a crap roll on a 5 versus 11, we could still go to yellow alert. And then it's just a pain in the butt to go back home, yeah, and you know, repair yourself. So yeah, this is going to be our combat card. So let's put that here. And let's replace. Okay, so let's get 3 cards for the Klingon ship here. Okay, if you successfully attack the target ship, add +5 to your weapons test before determining the amount of damage done. So would they play this? I mean, we have a card that's going to stop combat, yes, but they don't know that. And this would make total sense. Like, they can see that our shields are low, and if they attack us, they get another +5 to their weapons. So this would be an awesome card for them to play. So they would actually play that one. So this is going to be their card. And then when we reveal these cards, well, the combat ends because of hailing frequencies. Whap, whap, whap. Too bad for you, Klingons. So they've basically wasted an action trying to attack us. Okay, so let's get rid of these cards. So now it means that the Rotaran has taken its action. Okay, good. So we will move on to the next highest ship in line, and that would be the Negvar. So let's go through the phase 1 table here. So decloak if at least one of the following conditions are met. Your starship is not present. Okay, well, we can stop right there. Yeah, our starship is not present, so decloak. But he's already decloaked. So this was phase 1, and we did something on it, so we can move right on to phase 2. So phase 2, the Klingon ship will perform the first action that it's able to do from this list. Well, he can't do any of these things. So if you look at the bottom here, if none of these actions can be performed, execute the backup phase. Backup phase, only execute if instructed to do so, and we were. So it says the Klingon ship cloaks, then moves to an adjacent location in the following preference. Okay, so let's cloak this Klingon ship. We can move it on his card too to say that he's cloaked. Okay, so where will he go? Toward a Klingon installation if the Klingon starship is damaged. Nope. Toward your starship if the Klingon ship or task force has a greater or equal size value -1. Well, yeah. I mean, it's a size 6 and we're a size 6, so we'll activate this. So toward your starship. So it would try to go for us. So you take the quickest route. So 1, 2, 3, or 1, 2, 3, whatever. Let's go here. If ever you're, undecided as to where to go, you could just roll a die and do it so that, from where you were, let's say you were here, this would be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. You could do that. I mean, okay, so yeah, why not? Let's do it. So where would he go? So we're wondering if he's going to go here or here. Well, actually, let's just split the difference here. Let's just do 1, 2, 3, and 4, 5, 6. Okay, so exactly where we said we wanted it to go. So he's cloaked, and he's going to be moving here. It's a Class H planet. We've got to turn these away from us because they explored it. Okay, so Class H planet, this says it's habitable, and installations at this location require 3 additional control tokens to build. Wow, that's horrible. Horrible for them. Now, if we go back to the backup phase, at the bottom of it, it says, after the ship or task force has moved, try executing phase 2 again. If no actions can be taken from the phase 2 list, ship's turn is over. Okay, so it sends us back to phase 2. So the ship will take the first action it can do from the list. So let's just look at the bold word here. So combat action, no. Repair, no. Combat, no. Combat, no. Remove a control token, no. Build or upgrade a Klingon installation, meeting token requirements. Well, it can't build right now because it needs tokens. Okay, so next, place a Klingon control token. Okay. Now you might be saying, why are they placing Klingon control tokens? Well, that's because if they place enough of those, they will eventually build some installations. And if you look at the winning and losing conditions here, if your starship was destroyed, you automatically lose. Winning requires 10 VPs per player. This is because we sometimes play co-op, and I'll get to that in another video. So 10 VPs at the 10th turn. And at the end of the 10th turn, after the Klingon phase, total up your VPs, but you subtract 1 VP for each Klingon outpost. So if it builds something, you're going to lose some points. 2 VPs for each Klingon colony, 3 VPs for each Klingon starbase, so that's pretty costly. 2 VPs if the Klingons control more locations than the Federation. So if these guys are moving all over the board and they're seeding, these control tokens, you can actually lose 1 VP. And then 1 VP for each Federation-controlled installation destroyed by the Klingons. So if these guys find your installation and blow it up, you're going to lose a VP. And then the last one here is -1 VP for each Klingon ship still present if you have taken the active war action, but we have not done that. Okay, so his action is done. He has put a control token there. And with that, that's the end of the first round. So let's quickly clean up here. So I will put this at round 2, move my action, my move, my power adjust, take away this thing and that thing. And now we're ready to go for round 2. Hey, by the way, you guys, when those 2 ships appeared, we needed to actually go get 2 new combat mission cards and shuffle them into this deck. And we did not do that. So I'm going to do that now. I'm going to take 1 and 2, we don't know what they are, and we will shuffle them in this deck. Now this just gives you, other opportunities to, fight and get some VPs. And I think I'm going to end it here for tonight, and I'm going to continue the game in another video. And if you want some more videos, YouTube thinks you might like the one on the left. I personally think you might enjoy the one on the right. And if you want to make sure to never miss any of my videos, I would ask you to click the middle button here to, of course, subscribe.
Monsieur, je sais que ça mettra fin à ma carrière d'enseignant stagiaire.
La
mais...
ferme, Wesley.